you need to know that this is what I can sustain. It's very practical. It's not nothing flourish. It's very practical, especially when you have a family. You need to know that there is a way to cover while I'm playing with this great game.
Welcome to the fourth episode of REG Conversation. Today we have with us Eva and Martina, who are the co-founders of GoBarefoot. So, GoBarefoot is a brand that focuses more on healthy wear for kids, from educating their mothers on why it's important for kids to have shoes that are barefoot and so on. So, without any further ado, I have two co-founders with me who are mothers as well, moms. So, would be nice if we could just get started. And could you just give us a brief about why this brand, what made you start this brand, and your journey in general?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, hello. For the start, the idea of Go Barefoot was born actually from us being the mothers and having the children that need to wear the shoes. And we always felt, me and Eva have been living in the UAE for many years, over 10 years. By the time our kids were little, and we were shoe shopping here in the country for the shoes that we thought are the best for the development of their feet, and we couldn't find any here. Basically, all that we could find here was really limited selection, very few brands that were selling shoes in general, and especially we couldn't find the so-called barefoot shoes that are, as we believe, and it is not just us who believe they are healthy, but it's backed up also scientifically, and a lot of health professionals are actually spreading this idea, and it's really like vibing a lot in the Western countries. We couldn't find such shoes here. Me and Eva, we know each other for several years, but actually the COVID brought us together. Eva originally is a health coach and a private personal trainer. And I'm a photographer, a lifestyle photographer. But during the COVID, everything was shut down. Basically, we were not able to do our business. We were at home with our children doing the homeschooling. And I knew that Eva was carrying this idea of starting to bring these healthy barefoot shoes into the country. And she had it for a long time in her head. So one day we sat down together, we had a coffee, and feeling utterly frustrated from the fact that we are just stuck at home and there is nothing for us to do, because we are, both of us, very, I would say, active and trying to still, do something on top of the motherhood. That is feeding our souls, as the photography is for me. For Eva was the coaching and the training. We didn't have this kind of feed for the soul, food for the soul at the time. So we sat together, and Eva was like, "Okay, let's start the Go Barefoot business," and I just happened to agree to that somehow. Yes, we both had the idea. Pitch from desperation, but it's actually true. It's true. Okay, so we started looking. It was September 2020, and we started really dig into it. We started doing the research, how to found the company. Actually, we were looking about what kind of license do we need, what are the bureaucratic things that we need to fulfill, and it started to be real. Basically, we launched on the 15th of March 2021. So yes, that's it basically.
Yeah, gosh, you summed it up so well.
I hope I mentioned everything.
You did, and I just want to say that yes, I had this idea in my head for a while, but I'm not very good working alone, and I think I was looking without really having a conscious thought. I was looking for somebody who would be a good fit to run the company with me, because I'm not good with blank paper. I have lots of ideas, but I need a person who will sort of deliver. And
You mean on the execution side?
on the execution side, yes. And while I can do it, when I push myself, of course, I have to, because it's in a small company, you have to be everything. You have to be the visionary, but also the doer. But I knew always that it helps me to be more productive and deliver when I have somebody who is like kind of watching me, that I'm not just always in my, cloud and, thinking things and not really making them happen. So I guess it was meant to be, and at some point we met, and
I remember the butterflies in my
amazing.
stomach that I had after the coffee, where we really agreed, let's start.
Yeah.
I rarely have this feeling, and I guess everyone here knows what I'm talking about. When you just feel something is right, and you feel it from really like the inside of yourself, that this is really a good decision to do. And I felt it with the Go Barefoot. Like, this is really what I want to do now. And it gave me the excitement. Like, yes, let's do it. And until today, I feel like this is what is really driving us further and giving us still the resilience and energy to push things forward. It's the excitement that we had at the very beginning, and it's the passion. So yeah, our journey is still underway, and we are not like, what is actually the goal that you want to achieve? You just want to do something that you love, that is also rewarding you and giving you the finances for your life, for the family. So it's great when you combine both, and I feel that we are combining both of these in our business, and the passion is there. So without it, I don't think it would be a successful project.
Interesting. So I feel like the whole idea, once you guys had a clarity, it's just the instinct that you went on, or did you guys do a bit of research and all of that?
It was definitely instinct-based. But not just the instinct. I mean, when you're like, as Martina mentioned, we kind of did the market research on our own skin, because as a mother, you have a child, the child needs shoes at some point. I mean, we really don't need shoes, but for practical reasons, and we live in urban life, eventually we need shoes. So at some point, you need to take this child to a shop, and at some point, you find out there are no shoes. So that was the marketing research, right? Sort of without knowing that was the marketing research that was happening at the background, right? So yes, then instinctively we knew that this is a gap in the market, and why not to fill the gap in? Why not to be the first one that sort of see that gap and decide to do something about that? But yes, it was very instinctive. We didn't, of course, once, I had that idea, and, I went around the shops and, just to confirm my instinct, then we did primary, secondary research, but it started with the instinct for sure.
Interesting. So this would, the exercise would go like, you would reach out to moms and check with them, like if that is something they would want for their kids and all that. Like most of the founders, they do. Did you guys do that?
It was very agile, I would say. Actually, before COVID, I ordered a very first batch. It was just 30 pairs of shoes from Romania, similar to what I thought was really missing in the market. And to be honest, I was selling it on a playground. I had a few friends who were helping me, and basically I just wanted to confirm on a small batch that my instinct is right, that from this very limited market research that I've done at this point, that I was right. And yes, in like 1 month I had no shoes, but then COVID hit,
So this was the idea, and everything was before COVID.
This
It was
COVID,
long
yeah.
before COVID.
It was long before
Yes.
COVID, yes, and then it died
As I
out.
say, in Eva's head, like I know that we were meeting each other and she was talking to me like, okay, I'm doing the research, how to start this company. And I was at the time getting my license for photography. So we were sharing this experience. Like I knew that she wants to found Go Barefoot.
Yeah.
I was having my photography business. I was like, okay, Eva, go for it. It's amazing. I never saw myself in it actually, to be honest. But with the COVID and with the change of the situation, I know Eva had a different friend that was at the time collaborating with her. Was like everything happened so quickly, and for me just made so much sense to jump into this project because I felt like, okay, this is something that resonates with me as well. And she was seeking for someone during this COVID to start this project with, to be on the same page, and I think that we were on the
We
same
just
page.
clicked, you know.
It clicked.
It just clicked, and I knew that Martina is exactly the person that I can imagine to work with. But again, based on instinct. We didn't know each other that well. You know, it was very instinctual.
Yeah. It was just, you know, we knew that we are from the same country, so we knew each other.
Culturally, you know,
But
same background.
we were not that close at the time, so it was really like pure instinct. And this is really interesting to say. Like honestly, I think the best things that are happening to you in your life, you cannot just plan it. You need to just go with the flow. And
When it feels right.
I feel when it feels right, and until today, it's that it's really still clicking between us. Many founders, with the time, we are on the market for 4 years, so we've been through a lot. Still, like, much more can happen, right? But we've been through a lot, and it's still clicking. And I feel like we are the right match for each other, and having the right partner on your business journey can ease up a lot of things. It is helpful really in every aspect of the business that you approach. Either, you know, the right partner is the good companion to work with, to deliver the things, to plan, to help each other when the other one is down. You just lift yourself up. You share the ups and downs, the highs and lows together, and it's much more fun. And it's also, I think, it makes the business more durable and stable and resilient, because when you are all by yourself, it's a lonely journey. And it's also like you can lose the
spark.
The spark, yes, the motivation.
And once that drops, there's no coming back. Like
There's
it takes
no coming back,
months and years for you to pick yourself up.
It's really hard to pick yourself up when the times are not good. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So I wouldn't be able to do this alone. Not at all.
Yeah,
not at all.
No. I would already finished probably
Yes.
50 times.
Me too. I wouldn't even start it.
Yes, there you go. Sometimes it does work. Sometimes it
So, I feel most of the things when you have an idea, it's good you quickly execute on that rather than perfecting that idea.
Absolutely. We
Yes.
are very agile business. So basically everything that we do, we always try to execute quickly in a small batch, whether that is a new design or a marketing idea. We always give it a time. We test the market, we test the product, we test the channel, we test the new person that we cooperate with. We try to avoid too much planning, too much, papers and overthinking. Okay, as long as it's not going to bankrupt us, we go for it. We give it some time, and then we look at it and we go, okay, are we killing this idea? Are we editing it, or just continue with it as it is because it's working? The overthinking, the procrastinating, it's something that as a small business, it's just best to limit, because it pushes you back. And what you need to do as an entrepreneur is constantly try new things, because you don't know. That's the thing, that you think you know, but you don't really know. You might think that, okay, this is going to work, and then you give it a go, and it's not working at all. And there are so many other things that surprise you. So why to wait when you can just quickly test, execute, and come back to it and decide what you're going to do with it. Yeah. So yeah, we try to apply this for almost everything that we do.
Interesting. Yeah. Coming back to the product side of things, like, could you give me a brief on how your business model works, like from curation to execution and all of that? How does that work?
Yeah. So we spent, I would say, the first 2 years really trying to understand the taste of the market in terms of selecting the product, right? Because we're both from Central Europe, and the taste, the fashion, the climate, basically what people expect from the product, we by very hard way realize is very different. So we would start with what we knew was selling back at home. So it really starts with, because there are so many barefoot shoes companies nowadays, you have plenty to choose from. So the process is to pick the right design, right? Pick the design that here in the UAE people like and are prepared to pay a premium price for it, because barefoot shoes are more pricey than shoes from mainstream shops that you can find in shopping malls here, right? So it started with a careful brand selection. This brand might even have then a nice design, but then you find out that they are not flexible. So like the catalog works just seasons which are not applicable to UAE, where we basically have just hot and hotter. So it's basically a one season. Okay, so then you decide it's the good design that we now know works here. Then you have a company that is flexible to support you. And then you place an order, right? And then you wait, and then depends on the company what's the lead time. You get the shoes ready to be shipped in 6 weeks to 3 to 5 months, some of them. Then you need to really figure out how to ship them here, because obviously shipping is a big part, and it's financially the most heavy almost item in the pricing list. So you have to really figure out, well, and Martina is so good at it, to find the best, the cheapest option, how to get it here safely. Then the shoes come here, then you need to go through all the bureaucracy to work on the import tax and get it all cleared out. Then it needs to be onboarded with our fulfillment center, which can take another week or so, and go through the administration there. Meanwhile, we have to put it insert it in our WooCommerce. We use WooCommerce as an e-commerce platform, which also takes time to make sure that it's well presented. And then the fun part starts, which is the marketing, because the product is great, but it's really just like the very beginning, because then you need to sell it. Then you need to sell it, and you need to find ways how to attract the customer and where to find the customer, and then keep on selling it and selling it and selling it until people
pushing.
decide to press the purchase button, you know. And then of course it doesn't end there, because the shoes are big and they are small and they are this and they are that. So you need a customer care service that is really, really, really good, because you're dealing with shoes which obviously historically we're not used to buy online. We want to go to the shop to try. So we really needed to learn how to make it really easy and trustable for people to buy shoes online, not to be scared like, okay, now what am I going to do with these shoes when it's going to turn out I don't like it, it's not good shape, it's whatever, small, big. So you need to have a well-trained customer care and all the processes that make sure that the customer feels safe and happy, that it's all quick and everything's possible, because then they come again, because they find that actually this is so much easier than to drag the screaming toddler to a shop and go through this horrible experience. And then the process, then you try to make the customer happy and keep him and take the feedback, and then it starts all over again. Once you sell, you have to choose either from the same company, new catalog, or Find a new brand.
Trying to tweak the process, all the time, getting better in the production cycle, ordering cycle, dealing with the fulfillment center, shortening the delivery times, cutting the costs there, right? It's like always, I feel like we are still tweaking and trying to figure out, okay, this hasn't worked that well last season, let's make it better, how to do it better. So it's constantly something. And especially this is a stock-based business, you need to really be careful about planning your stock levels to be still able to sell enough to provide your customers enough selection, choice, right? Sometimes, there are some things that you simply cannot influence, like public holidays in different countries of the suppliers, right? That can affect the delivery times. Customs delays here on the airport. A lot of things can happen on the way. So it's basically not selling your skills as a photographer or a personal trainer. You have your skills, you have your gear, then you go, right? You do what you can do. But this is all depending on so many stages and so many small parts can go wrong. That there is constantly something, like it's never boring, and we feel there is always something happening. As soon as you feel like, okay, now everything is working, the Google ads are working, everything's performing, we have the products, everything is on the way, IT is performing, there are no hiccups there. There's always something. Something
always
goes wrong. There are some new bureaucratic rules implemented, right? This country, you have been here for a long time. So it's never boring. And it's constantly like we are the two founders that need to be still thriving and trying to think forward and from the top, right? To see the vision and the strategy, how
Not to get lost in the operation.
Yeah, but the operation it's so
pick yourself up,
time consuming and so like tiring on some days. And that is the good thing to have a partner or to have a good partners that you work with, because then you can really lift your spirit and just, I personally feel like having this business, it's a total Zen training. It's training me in Zen. Chill. Don't bother. Don't worry, it's gonna be solved. Like somehow everything will be fine. But it's like so many horror stories that we experience that are, now they are funny, but they weren't at the time. Like for example, when our bank closed our accounts for several weeks. They just froze it because according to them, we didn't upload the KYC, we didn't upload the newest documents, the license and the IDs and so on. They were like claiming, you didn't provide us these documents, so that this is the reason why your account is frozen.
No.
They found out, they were there, uploaded for 6 months, and nobody ever bothered to upload them into the system. So basically, some department just figured out, okay, the documents are not here, let's freeze the account. But they were there, we uploaded them, and clearly it was then proved. So it wasn't our mistake, but we were without the bank account, like the active bank account, for 3 or 4 weeks. So imagine you have invoices to pay, you have commitments, you have just pending shipment on the way, the clearance is waiting on the airport, and now you have like no account to pay this. So, and this is just one of the stories that we can share. It's never easy. It's not easy at all, but it's fun. And I cannot imagine to have it other way. People from outside, they see, okay, nice company, they have nice Instagram, okay, lovely, maybe 2 ladies that are bubbly and talking, blah, blah, blah. But in the background, gosh, so hard. And it's 2 of us here showing our faces, but it's the whole team. It's the whole team, literally, it's a family business, like everybody's engaged. Everybody, true. The whole families are living with this business, and without the support, we wouldn't be here. So you cannot be lonely, you cannot be alone, and you need to have the support from the people around you that strongly believe in you, even when you don't believe in yourself or your business. It's all beneficial. And I cannot imagine if we wouldn't have the support from our closest relatives, partners, even our kids. they are, you know, cheering up for us. So, and not just them, like we have, I must knock on the table. We have really great partners that we are working with. And the brands that we are selecting, we also listen to our instincts when we have the first cold touch, like cold call, or like we just get in touch. You feel the vibes. You can just get the energy even from a Zoom call. You can feel like, okay, this is gonna work or this is not gonna work. So it also comes together.
I believe your business so far is bootstrapped, like, or is it funded?
Could you define?
Bootstrap running on your.
Yes, we've financed the business from our own personal resources.
Has there been a time where you guys felt like, let's look for an investor and scale and all of that?
So
even if that has come.
So we haven't reached that point that point now, or until now. We are very careful about losing a bit of a control over the company. As for now, we were able to finance and support the growth from our own financial resources, and to be honest, the business generates enough money, a cash flow to invest into a growing portfolio. Having said that, every time when we feel it's time to boost the company, that the company is ready to, sell from, here and make a big jump, then obviously we have to invest, because you don't have a stock, you don't sell, right? And that stock has to be, everybody wants to pay it immediately or before the shipment. So obviously you need to find a way how to finance it, which is not always easy. But until now, the fact that we are in a full control and we don't report to anybody has been much bigger importance to us than to find an investor. Again, this is now. What will be in 1 year or 2 years, I don't know. We will obviously always consider external resources if it will make sense for the company and for our decision-making process. But yes, it's not easy in here to. I mean, I never set up a business in Europe, so this is just what we know from our parents own a company, friends own a company, and in Europe it's definitely there are different ways how to find resources to finance your business as a small, like from the very beginning, right? There are banks offer business loans. There are business credit cards, for example, just the basics. That here you don't have those options. You don't have the basics of the financial products that exist in a European market. So you basically have almost two options left. One is to finance from your own money and then look for an investor, which is a big step for a small business. And there is nothing really in between. So you have to wait, I guess, in what stage you're prepared to invite somebody in. And as for us, that the time hasn't come yet. But we are not saying that it won't come in the future, for sure. No. We will consider.
Coming back to the channels on the marketing side, what are some of the channels that has been working for you guys?
So I think the very first one was COVID. I think like for everybody, there wasn't a single person who wasn't touched by COVID by negative ways. It was the very first one. The business was frozen for almost a year because I have 2 children, Martina has 2 children, and the primary way to survive was basically secure the family, right? The kids came first, they suddenly from one day to another they were at home, somebody had to care for them, right? We don't have help, we don't have other help than the help of our husband, so it was us. So that was definitely the first sort of a big challenge that I remember. Challenge is, I think, every single mom entrepreneur will agree. At the end of the day, you are a mom, and nobody can take over your role fully. You can have help, and that's again up to you what suits your family, how much you can outsource. Absolutely, you have to juggle a lot as a mom, and as a usually it's the woman who is kind of a manager of the household. I mean, there are obviously some families where it goes at least 50-50, but in many ways, it's still a woman. I mean, maybe somebody will disagree with me, but that's how I feel. So a challenge of being a mom, for sure. Cultural differences. This UAE is an amazing place to live, but of course, because we all come from different places, we all have different habits and different ways of communication, different ways of dealing with issues, solving the problems, very different attitude and approach to solving a real existing problem. And there are definitely cultural backgrounds that come in play, and the first reaction is like, it's like this, blah, blah, blah. But then you have to sit down and you have to understand where the other person's coming from, and try to navigate. When we started, I don't know how is it now, it might be easier these days, but when we started almost 5 years ago was the first basically time when we were considering the business license. There is no guideline, right? You don't know where to start. There is no, at that time, there was not like a one place where you would come and say, I want to start a business and this is what the business is going to be like. Can you please let me know what the business licenses
we would know
are?
about RAC at that time.
Maybe.
It would be much easier, but we haven't came across you guys. So basically,
yeah. And then from there, everything's evolving, even like fulfillment center, right? We were like, okay, fulfillment, what is it even, a fulfillment center, right? Like I didn't know even the word. So you kind of, you're thrown to the waters and you learn as you go. And maybe that's the same everywhere else in the world. Maybe I'm just saying that it's because I just know UAE. But so that a bit of like a lack of structure for entrepreneurs to follow. Just the everyday, I think every owner of a small business shares the same struggles, like obviously where the money comes from, how the invoice is going to be paid this month. Just months when things are not going that well. How to, I guess, the motivation, how to keep up the motivation, because you have to show up even if you feel bad, even you're sick, when kids are sick, when business is not running well. I think that's a challenge for everybody, not specifically just for us, how to keep up the motivation going, because you often feel alone.
I would maybe add one thing, and it is the fact that we didn't know at the time when we started. But the market for the barefoot shoes, I guess we are creating that. Because everybody needs shoes, but the barefoot shoes at the time when we started was a complete unknown term here. The moms had no idea, most of the moms had no idea what we are trying to sell basically, and why these barefoot shoes are so good, why they are more expensive. And this is, I won't maybe say it's a struggle, but it's a part of the journey that is still difficult to create a market that is big enough for us to really scale the business and grow. And there is the space, definitely, because we see what is happening in the West, in Europe, in the US. Even these 10 years ago when we came to the country, the market of the barefoot shoes in Europe was so developed, and the moms were aware, they had this knowledge why the barefoot shoes are healthy for the development of their kids, of their feet, why even themselves as adults should wear the barefoot shoes. Whereas here we started from the scratch. Basically, we just started with picking the low-hanging fruits here, that the single moms or persons living here in the UAE having the knowledge coming from these countries. But basically, many of our activities that we do as a Go Barefoot, because selling of the shoes is just one part of it. It's necessary because it's a business and it needs to make sense financially. But a large ratio of this is basically building the market and raising the awareness and creating the potential that is here. And we see like plenty of kids here are wearing just terrible shoes here. And it's affecting actually your health, overall health, also later
and probably
in
the
adulthood.
ick that you guys would be having after seeing the kids wearing those shoes.
Yes, yes, yes. It's really terrifying sometimes to see what the kids are wearing, and especially in the school, like they spend the whole time in the school, the whole day, basically 8 hours or how many. It's really a long day, and when you put basically when you put it in a restrictive, hard, really stiff shoe, that is basically the same as you would put a cast on their feet. The muscles, you lose the muscles. Basically, they are not exercising in such a shoe. They are completely losing the purpose that the feet has, and that is the balance, that is the giving us the right posture, and when you lose these muscles, you lose the sense of connection to the ground. There can be later issues with the back pain, with the hip pain, different kinds of deformities of the feet that you see, the bunions, calluses, basically, that are mostly coming from wearing improper shoes. And especially for the kids, like many people are complaining, our kids, they have flat feet. But the flat feet, what is that? Basically, that's a muscle that is lazy. It's the same as you go to the gym. Basically, when you are wearing a barefoot shoe, that is like a gym for your foot. It keeps the muscles engaged. It keeps them working out. It keeps them really like exercising all the time. They are strong. The foot arch is now able to be built. Because when the muscles are lazy, it's like, yeah, you wouldn't put a cast on a feet. So why the kids wear shoes that feel like a cast? And it's the same like when you have a cast on your body, on your limb, either arm or like you can see clearly how you lose the musculature. It's just diminishes over the time. And then you need to gain the strength again, you need to work out, you need to do the physiotherapy. Basically, it's the same issue with the feet. But we as humans have been so long in this perception of how the shoe should look like. And it is the shoe that is narrow in the front, stiff, hard, really thick, foamy soles. We don't even think that it could be a different way, that you can really support the natural development of the feet with wearing shoes that let your foot work as it is supposed to work.
Yeah. So maybe it's a good time to demonstrate, right? What is different about barefoot shoes, like all of the things that Martina mentioned, that are mainstream, like, you know, pointy shoes, padded, different height in the heel. This is not existing in barefoot shoes, right? So we can compare.
This is a normal shoe.
This is normal mainstream shoes. See the difference between the heel. Even here it goes up, right? Just imagine what it does with the feet. How the toes have to adjust, right? Not speaking about who has feet looking like this. Like, do we have a big toe pointing here? And like, this is not foot-shaped shoe, right? This is some sort of I don't know, like whoever invented these shoes, but you basically cannot bend them. So again, that's the cast, right? You cannot bend them. So imagine what the foot is doing inside. Nothing. It's doing precisely nothing. So you're having that cast on your foot. And actually these are okay weight-wise, but some of the shoes are super, super heavy.
Yeah.
So in comparison, you have here shoe that is clearly a shape of the feet, right? So the toe comes here, right? So you can see there is a space for the toe to come to point forward, right? In the narrow shoes, the toe eventually, and I'm not talking years and years and years and years of wearing appropriate shoes, you know, halluxes and the especially ladies with high heel shoes, they end up eventually 100% with the toes pointing inward. There is enough of space. See, the shoe is quite wide in the front, so the toes have space to wiggle, to move, to do what were meant to do. You know, move. Our feet were not meant to be stuck, and it is this kind of a shape, right? And we said that those shoes, these were super stiff, right? I couldn't bend them. These you can bend. They are super flexible, right? So the foot has to work hard, right? The foot has to work hard to keep the balance, to grip, to, you know, adjust to the terrain, and they are super light. And because most of the barefoot shoes company, they are super, super aware of the environment and sustainability, and so this is not leather, right? You would think it's a leather. I mean, I would think it's a leather, but it's not. It's a recycled corn and grapeseed waste, right? So it's, and the quality of the barefoot shoes is super, super, super high. So, you know, not just the material, but how the material is glued together. There are no, how do you call them? Toxic glues. It's all vegetable tanned, and so, you know, you want to put the shoes on the kids and make sure that there are not, you know, bad ingredients sort of absorbed by the skin, because the feet has the highest absorption from our whole body. So you don't want the child to walk on a plastic sole. It's really, really quite dangerous long term. So yes,
and this is just the one brand.
This is just one brand.
You basically,
yes.
We have many brands online that we are selling. Many of the shoes are made out of leather, but what is common in all of the brands that we are selling is that they are very much focused in the quality, sustainable production, fair conditions for the workers, and materials that they use are carefully considered. They are locally
sourced. Yes.
So this is all contributing to the higher price point of the shoe, because obviously, and it's very clear that the barefoot shoes are a bit more expensive.
But we also try to educate the market, like, look, normally the shoes, like, let's talk numbers, right? Because at the end, families have budget. It also has to work financially. But we try to educate the market and the moms in terms of, look, like, the mainstream shoes could be anywhere from, say, when I'm not going to say the brand, but the plastic clogs are about 100 dirhams, I would say 100 dirhams. We all have them at home. They're great for beach. From the car to the beach and back. And then you have some mainstream shops in shopping malls. We have them here everywhere. They might be a little between 150 and 200 dirhams, right? And then you have higher, there are some premium brands as well. And they are between 300 to 400, right? But the mainstream is under 250. We know this from a research. Moms here are very price sensitive for the shoes, especially, you know, the child grows. Of course, we know that. But you have to think that you're doing something super important, that is investment into the health. Because the feet are the core of your, the foundation of your body. If the feet are not strong, the core of the body will not be strong. And then if you don't have the legs and arms, are just limbs, and they're extension of the core. So when the core is not strong, eventually that weakness will go to your joints, for sure, 100%. I mean, there is a research done. This is all we're just parroting basically what is well researched. So as a mom, you have to consider how easy it is to spend this 100. We're talking about the extra 100 dirhams that you would spend, not just with us, but like on any barefoot shoes. What is 100 dirhams in the UAE? Nothing. It's like strawberries cost in Waitrose 35 dirhams, right? Matcha, right? 35 dirhams. Cup of coffee, 25 dirhams. You know, people go for brunch every weekend, 1,000 dirhams for a family, right? You go to a zoo. I mean, on the entrance, you lose what, like 200 dirhams. Ice cream inside, 200 dirhams. So why are we even talking about this 100 dirhams difference when it is 100 dirhams that you're literally putting into the health of your child? I mean, you go to a doctor and beep beep, just, you know, you leaving with a pack of Zyrtec and ibuprofen, and you pay 50 dirhams just to be seen by a doctor. So, you know, tickets for cinema, 70. So why are we also, and we know this from a research, it's a big issue with the moms that, you know, but your shoes are so expensive. Well, are they really? Are they really that expensive? They're really just 100 dirhams more expensive, and you don't even think during the week on your deliveries, right, through Karim or whatever, how much money you spend. Yeah. So you don't count that, but you do count the 100 dirhams that is literally investment to your health.
That's the difference that we learned here, that is completely on another part of the spectrum of the consumer behavior, comparing with Europe, let's say, where moms really are focused into the high quality footwear for the children. It's their priority to buy good quality footwear for their kids, let's say, speaking about the Middle Europe, and even other expenses.
The education is there, right?
Other expenses are rather cut then, but the shoes must be, right?
People definitely don't go every weekend for a brunch, that's for sure.
Like people here just, you know, spending money wherever.
Eating, drinking, it's a priority here. Yes. I mean, not that we are different, like we like to splurge as well. I don't want to, you know, preach something that we don't do, but we have to be really careful about understanding how much money and we spend on different things, and what is important and what is less important, especially when it comes to something as so important as the long-term health of a child or us, because it's never too late. Like we as an adult, we have to look after our feet too. So I guess we were talking about the challenges. We got to the price sensitivity
this
of
part
the
is
customers.
interesting because it's a new category that you're building, right?
Yes.
So that's
it's building the market.
You are a pioneer over here. You are building a category. There's a lot of effort that goes into educating.
Absolutely.
So
it's
that's
building
a
a
big
market.
part.
Yeah. And it's also a fun part because you need to be very creative in finding ways how to build the market, how to build a category, how to basically build the street for your brand, where your brand will be having this, you know, shop in another sense. But it's a lot of effort that we're putting in it. We are collaborating with several physiotherapists, the clinics that are dealing with the health issues, different professionals among the pediatricians. Then we have collaborations with a lot of mom groups, with schools, nurseries, even, like there is plenty. We are trying to use every.
We could employ another 50 people and they will have things to do.
Yes. But the awareness is definitely rising. We can see during these 4 years the work is paying off, and the awareness is rising. That makes us really happy. More and more moms or people are more conscious about what they put on their feet. And even, you know, even if we just plant the seed in the thinking of the people that, okay, there can be a different approach in what shoes that they buy, that's a success as well. Because our mission is to really make the society in the UAE, in the Middle East, healthier. And it starts with the feet. So we want to contribute to that. And even if we plant the seeds that the people start thinking about these things, it's a big success, because then there will be less pain in the future, or less visits to the doctors, and there will be and are another sellers of the barefoot shoes. Obviously, we are not the only ones, but having
There is space for competition. There are so
Yeah.
many feet in the UAE that another
having,
5 competitors can come in.
this society that is here, UAE itself is really big, and then we have the whole GCC. There is a plenty of opportunity, and the people, they really are starting to think more about their wellness, more about their lifestyle, how to improve these things, and this is a part of it. Barefoot shoes is a lifestyle, it's not a product. It's the way of life, and it aligns with many of other things that are now trendy and really can help you live a healthy, long life. Like everybody's talking about longevity, so I think this is a part of it.
Interesting. So coming back to like both of you guys being mom, right? How hard it is for you guys to juggle between being a mom and at the same time being an entrepreneur?
It's very hard.
It's easier as the kids grow. My kids are 7 and 10. We started, they were
4 years less. Yeah.
3 and gosh, it's
It's
hard to
definitely
3 and
easier
6. So that time it was really quite. Sometimes there were days when I don't know. I had my brain on fire, hands on fire, legs on fire. It's easier now. They're definitely more independent, and I think you have to be really structured with your time. You have to see your day as blocks, right? There is a morning block, 1 hour, that is just mine, for exercise, for whatever, meditation, walk, whatever it is. That 1 hour is precious, and I try to stick with it because you have to take care of yourself first. Otherwise, when you burn out, everything's just fall apart. So that's a 1 block. Kids go to school, 7 o'clock. Bye-bye. And the schools in the UAE are long hours, so in a way that's good. So we have both kids that goes to school. Again, when you have a nursery or baby, that's a different story. So kids go to school, you're off to your exercise, shower, breakfast, and then it's a block for work, right? And there's another element to it, that Martin is a photographer. I'm also a PT and a health coach. So my next block after exercises, I usually do. I do not. It's really it's just my passion. I cannot let it go. So I'm keeping very, very few clients. But let's say I have 1 client every day. So that's like a 1 hour. So it's now 10 o'clock, and now it's time for Go Barefoot until kids come back by bus, 4 p.m. So you have to use those 5 hours, because in between you have to cook as well, right?
Yeah.
You have 4 hours for meetings, for whether that's meetings online or in the field, whether that's our internal meetings or meeting partners or doing podcasts or whatever. And then also you sometimes need to sit down and go through those emails and make the promotion materials and harass everybody in the IT because the web is not working, and you have to actually sit down and do the work. And then it's 3 o'clock and it's time to make a dinner because kids are coming, and then you have another full-time job. Kids come at 4, and that's your next block. All the after-school activities, all the being a taxi driver on Abu Dhabi. It's not that bad as here in Dubai, because in Abu Dhabi at least it's like everywhere is max 20 minutes. But then that's a new block. So in my head, there are blocks, and you have to be organized within the blocks. And sometimes there are better days when you're super organized, and sometimes there are worse days when unexpected things happen and the whole formula falls apart, and there are no more blocks. When kids are sick, when whatever, there are floods, you have to stay at home, when whatever, right, unexpected situations happens. But in my head, it's blocks. You need to be organized, and you need to go.
It hasn't been like this always. When we started, the first year was pretty wild. We were working late hours.
Because it was COVID, so kids were at home, so no blocks.
No blocks, completely like random. Whenever there was a free time, we were just working, and I personally prefer work late in the evenings or later hours. So it was like really finding also the alignment between the two of us, how to structure our work, how to really find a balance, how to start things and finish them. And it was also like a learning curve for us. But it's, yeah, now I would say it's like this, it's the blocks, and I also personally try to avoid working late in the evenings, however, it's sometimes not possible. But basically, you have your own business. You need to
find your way, your rhythm.
And you're always working. I feel like always in your mind, you're dealing with something. And even when I'm sitting at the clubs and waiting for the kids to finish their clubs, I'm doing something, editing the reel, whatever, editing the images from the photo shoot, preparing the materials, checking the emails, responding. Like, it's always constantly something is going on. But the good thing is that we are two and we can cover each other when we are on holidays. And we strictly set up the structure that we have weekends completely dedicated for the family. So no work during the weekends. Yeah, sometimes it's not possible. We have exceptions, but this is a rule that I really appreciate, and it's keeping our sanity, because then we are able just to be with the family and really switch off. Even the customer care that we have has like office hours. So
it's not 24/7.
Yes, when there is an urgent case, of course, I'm checking the emails. We are the owners, so if there is something that is burning, you just deal with it even over the weekend. So, but mostly it's fine, and the holidays are sacred. You leave, you enjoy the time, switch off the phone, but you have someone to rely on, basically. As long as you have someone to rely on, then it's much easier for you to switch off. Being one person in a business, like we even have a great partner, we have a great customer care that we can rely on. Basically, you can still find the balance in the mess of the everyday life. And it is something that we learned as well. How to make this sustainable, because you can just go full in having a business, and after 1 year you are burned out, you have zero energy, and it's overwhelming too much for you that you are not able to continue. So this is how it works for us.
Nice, interesting. Okay, coming back to like scaling. Let's say now you have been running the show in the UAE. If you there'll be a time where you want to scale in GCC or globally and all of that. What are some of the strategies that you think you would implement?
So globally, so we are not the only e-commerce that's selling barefoot shoes. There are many e-commerces purely focusing on barefoot shoes in Europe. So scaling to Europe, there's no sense, because there are so many other much bigger players, although never say never. For us, we totally don't feel like the UAE market is saturated at all. Like, there is so much potential here, so many little feet, so many new communities growing up in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. It's full of people, and even if we did a math, and even if we were saturated for like 1%. So like, even if we cover 1% of the market, just the few communities that we picked in Dubai that are our customers, we're not even close. So there is still lots of work that we have to do in the UAE. We are really just at the very beginning. But of course there is big GCC market, and of course way many more shoes. We obviously as I said at the beginning, we always try to do little tests, and we as I guess every business would try first is Google Ads, right? So we tried the Google Ads on the GCC, we tried the socials, but that didn't turn out to be a big success, I would say. Not as for now, but again, it comes with the education of the market, because the more market is educated, the more people search. True. Right? If people don't search for barefoot shoes, you can have it switched on for as small, big budget, it's not going to make a difference. So that didn't work a few months ago, but we will try again, because in a few months it can be very different. I think we agreed that once the space open up, we need to do some groundwork. Meaning just finding some partnerships, some content creators, like we did here in the UAE. We're in the process of that, and then we need to travel and be present at there are lots of markets happening now in Saudi, in Riyadh. So we need to go and explore and start networking, and definitely explore all of these markets slowly. As I guess every business now feels the huge opportunity with these markets opening up. But as I said, we still have lots to do in the UAE market here because there's plenty to do, and a big potential definitely that we haven't explored yet.
Yep.
Yep.
Would you like to add something onto that?
I guess you summed it all. So I was just listening, and no, I think it's just accurate. We definitely want to scale. We definitely want to grow. As we said before, our mission is to unleash as many feet in the GCC as possible. So there is plenty of space, plenty of opportunity.
We wish we had maybe another
plenty of
3 to 5 people to work on the GCC.
That are just waiting to be brought here to the UAE, because there is like literally before, few years back, the barefoot shoes were considered ugly because of the shape, right? They are not sexy, to be honest. But now there is such a huge shift in the design and the production. These shoes are really like, you wouldn't tell the difference between the mainstream sneaker that is really like appearing to be this foamy, thick sole. The manufacturing processes have came so farther that the barefoot shoes are becoming so trendy, so stylish, and not just among the kids' footwear, but also for the adults. There is plenty of choice, amazing materials that are being used. Like really, it's a huge thing happening out there, and the market is growing globally. So we feel
the sign is there because there are more and more global players coming to UAE. So, and they all have their marketing, research departments, and they are in numbers
budgets.
That we don't, and the budgets, that we never, we just don't have time to spend 2 weeks, doing marketing research. We have to do other million things. So when the competitors are coming, that something's shifting, something's opening, and that's a good sign, because you cannot educate the market with the limited budget of a small business, or just 3 of us educating home. So we always see it as an opportunity, as a good sign that there are enough of clicks now that it now even make a sense for much bigger players to come with these big marketing budgets and
we
set up.
welcome this competition also because together we can create the bigger awareness, right? It's a synergic effect. Until very recent, it's been just us really trying hard on all different levels, different ways how to educate the market. But having the help of others coming into this market, it's great, because the potential is huge. And really, UAE has a huge market that is not even like penetrated by a few percent. So it's definitely something that has a future. We strongly believe in it, and we keep on showing up because we still feel like there is so much to do.
Also, when it comes to like a big player coming into the category, is it a good sign that you get to learn from them and shadow them, or is it a good thing that you yourself are the one who started the category? What do you feel?
I think partnership is always best with the big players, and I can just probably speak from the recent history. There is one big player already setting up. Well, they are set up already. I can say it, right? It's Bilanca, right? Bilanca is one of the biggest player in a global market, and we try not to see them as competitor, but as a partner that we can join our local knowledge with their bigger impact when it comes to bigger impact budgets and different channels and resources, and we try to learn from each other and try to join the forces rather than to fight against each other, because that's not helpful for anybody. And we have both the same mission, and the mission is to unleash the feed, to have more healthy feed. And I think if you organize yourself around that vision, then the cooperation is possible, and it's helpful for both parts. So that's how we see it, always as an opportunity than a threat. Yeah.
For moms that are also entrepreneurs, what would be your one piece of advice from you?
One. I will repeat what I was told by my mentor when, this is not just for moms, I think it's general for any entrepreneur. When I was considering setting up a business or going back to the office, because my background is in marketing as well, in a different life. long time ago, I worked for corporations. So when I was on this crossroad to either go back to my office life or to start something new, I was working with a friend who now has a very successful business back at home, set up 15 years ago. And she was like, look, if you want instant money every month on your every month payroll, stability, don't even think of starting a business. You need to have a very honest conversation with yourself. If you can, first and foremost, sustain the financial challenge, because you need to basically be happy and at peace with the fact that for 5 years, you're not going to pay yourself. You have to be in absolute peace with that, because if you're at peace with that, you will make good decisions. You will make good decisions to grow this business, not pay everything that you will make. And you might, right? You might be very lucky, and in 1 year just go, woo! The business is doing great, everything's growing. I'm sending myself 20,000 every month, and it's all great, and pink and unicorns and all of that. But in 99%, every entrepreneur will tell you the same. The first 5 years, it's killer. It's killer. Whatever you make, you have to put back into the growth, and you need to know that this is what I can sustain. It's very practical. It's not nothing flavorish. It's very practical, especially when you have a family. You need to know that there is a way to cover, while I'm playing with this great game of being an entrepreneur, there is a way to cover your life expenses. So first of all, you need to have that conversation with yourself, and then obviously with that person who is going to be the provider. Is this what we can do as a couple? Or it can be family, I don't know, it can be an investor, it can be whoever is that financial injection. We need 5 years for this. Can we sustain it? Can I sustain it? Can I be happy with that? And I think it was the best advice I got from my friend, because I had to really be honest with myself. And answer that for myself, because that time will come. 3 years, you work, and you're like, where's the money? Where's the money in it? And when you know that this is what it was quite clear at the very beginning, you don't get frustrated. I mean, you do, but you can kind of get over it, I guess. And then slowly, the money starts coming, and every month that happens is great. And the month when it doesn't, then you can kind of swallow it. So I think that's one advice from me. Very practical.
Definitely set the expectations right. From my side, I would say surround yourself with the right people, because it's all about the people at the end. You deal with the people every day. If it's your partner, wise choice regarding your partner, business partner, or your partners, your suppliers, your, other people around, even the friends that are there, being able to give you a little help when you need that. It's really having the right people who are holding your back. And it has proved to us many times that you can sense it, you can feel it in your gut. Also, listen to your instincts. Who is the right pick for you? Who is the right match? Because then you can save yourself a lot of problems. Having reliable people around you that are able to fulfill what they promise. They're able to deliver. They are efficient, and also how to say, you need the right atmosphere, the right energy around yourself. Energy that is not dragging you down, that is not negative. That is really very important as well.
Can I throw one more? I think you also have to be honest with yourself. What kind of business you're building? Is it your passion building? Is it your passion? Is it a passion business, or is it conversion business? Right?
What is conversion?
Conversion is quick money.
Money.
You know, is it Amazon? We're selling on Amazon, right? Then you need a different setup, right? You can get away with lots of things that you absolutely cannot get away with a passion business. Passion business is something that is going to take, usually it comes with, you're building a new market, it's going to take a lot of time. And then you have to, know that there will be a few years to build this market and be surrounded by great people, and because it's going to take time. And in that case, you really need to have that passion for your business. If it's a long-term shot, you need to have a passion for the business, because that's what's going to be left there after 3 years of struggle after struggle after struggle. If the passion is not there for this business, big business, then forget it. If it's conversions, you have a lot of, I'm particularly thinking of one lady. She's like a master queen in these conversion businesses. I don't think there is a lot of passion in there, but she can just spot the gap and just go. And she's the one who I'm sure is making money after like 1 month, go. But it's very short term, I would even say. This business is not going to last. It's a quick way to make money. And that's great too. I'm not saying that one business is better than the other, but just be clear what kind of business you're in.
Also, you need to find your way. You need to find your way. Don't try to copy. Don't try to.
Yeah, very true. Because people will give you advice. You cannot make a business unless, right? Unless you can leave all the other jobs. You cannot be a mom. You have to have this time and and throw money in it. And we've got lots of ideas like that and advices. But it just doesn't work for us. We cannot throw the kids out of the equation.
No, you need to find your way.
You need to find your way what works for you.
But also don't try to be too unique for every cost. You can be one of the many, but if you find your way, you can still stand out. And it needs to be aligned with who you are. As soon as you are trying to pretend something that you are not, it's gonna show. It's gonna show. Yeah. Eventually, you will just you will hit a wall with that.
There are many other, but we don't have time for that.
So that's pretty much what I wanted to ask you guys on the show.
Excellent.
Thank you for taking out your time.
Well, thank you for asking the question. It's always good exercise for us to always go through this, because you forget sometimes why you're still in it.
It was a nice wrap up. Thank you.
Yep.